Morning, folks. Sandamtod here. Finally here to do this N64 Collection video. I was going to do the old obligatory, "It's a me, Sandamtod," but I guess I just did. So anyway, we're going to get started here. I'm going to try to stroll down memory lane while I do this and remember exactly what's what. It's not a great collection, and I've voiced my opinion on the N64 in the past. I've always thought the graphics on a lot of the games look great. I always hated the controller, and I just never really got into it. The controller, I think, was the biggest hindrance for me. And now, even though I've got a different controller that's a little more suited to my hand, I just can't get into the games. I mean, it's like that time has passed for me. But, to be fair, it is one of the systems that kind of got me back into collecting. Along with the Dreamcast I found at the pawn shop. That's the one that really kicked me back into wanting to collect. The N64 was kind of just a pickup purchase. I had went with my mother. She liked to go to thrift stores and stuff, and I went with my mother to the family store that we went to in the last video where I did pickups, and I was walking around in there, and they had a N64, which I believe had a power cord with it. I'm not gonna. I do have some power cords and stuff here, but I don't have one for. I don't have like a full set for each one of these systems, because a lot of them I think I found just loose, or they might have had a power cord or whatever, but a lot of them didn't even have controllers with them. So anyway, I know this is the very first one that I picked up because I never even erased the grease pencil price off of it. And that is this N64 right here. It's just a normal gray one. But it still has the grease pencil price of $4.98 on it. And it's got the little cover for the bottom port that never got used. This one did not come at the time with the expanded memory. It did not have it in it. I have another jumper. I have a jumper just loose around here somewhere, just sitting. But I bought the memory upgrade for it because I did not have a N64 up to that point. So this one does have a memory upgrade in it. And the jumper for it is around here somewhere. I thought it was just on the top of this cluttered desk here, but I don't know. I might have moved it or something. But anyway, this is the very first one that I found, and I didn't have a controller or anything, or a hookup to the TV. All I had was the power cord, and it did not have that, and I didn't even have a game for it. So I remember going to Game Exchange and buying a RF. Well, I think you can use the RF for the Super Nintendo, so I think I used that. But I still didn't have a controller, so I went to Game Exchange and got a controller, and I think I picked up a game, because one of the very first games that I wanted to play, really, and I never have really played it, is Super Mario 64. And we've been over this, but Mario is not something that draws me to the Nintendo. I mean, he is a mascot character and stuff, but I've never been a huge fan of the Mario games. Probably Super Mario Brothers 2, which is based off the Doki Doki Panic in the US, is probably the one that I like the most. I have beaten Super Mario Brothers 3 one time. I played, I don't even know if I played it straight through. I have played most of the levels, though, on Super Mario Brothers 3. Super Mario Brothers 2 I've beaten many times, and same thing with Super Mario Brothers 1. After that, I kind of gave up. I didn't play Super Mario World. I never really have. I didn't play, Yoshi's Island or any of those. And then the N64, like you said, Mario 64. I never really cared. I knew a guy when I was like 19 or 20, and he had an N64, and all they had was Mario. for it is a guy I worked with, but I went over to his house a couple times and we drink and shit and play Mario. He'd play it. I mainly just watch because I didn't really want to play it. And I think they had one other game, but I can't think of what it is. Might have been GoldenEye. Who knows? But anywho, so that was kind of my experience with the N64 up until I saw this one. My roommate Jake had one, and he had some games for it. So when I did finally pick this one up, there were a couple games that I had nostalgia for, based off that I played them on his system. One of those games will be coming up, and I beat it before I even owned an N64, and then I bought it again once I owned one, just because of the memory of playing through it. And I played through it on Jake's console, my roommate at the time. So there's one down. I don't know where I'm going to set all this stuff. I guess I'll just toss it over there. Then somewhere along the line, I snagged a second gray model, just loose. Who knows if it came with anything or what. It's still got dirt and shit on it. Spit is the best cleaner, don't you agree? But it's just, it looks exactly like the other one, except it doesn't have grease pencil on it. Except this one does not have the memory in it. It just has a jumper in it. Alright, 2 systems down. I figured I would kind of go through the system. So, first, but I'll kind of, since I happen to have a couple, I've got a couple gray controllers here. Probably, you know, I don't know when I picked them up. But all the sticks are good. I only have one where I have a bum stick on it. And I didn't include it with this stuff because I mainly would just use it for parts or whatever. But we got 2 gray controllers. We'll say one for each of those systems over there. And then, oh, here's the bum stick one. You can see it's like, it's loose as shit. But it's just for parts, you know. I probably got it real cheap. I can tell I never gave a shit about it because it's got a rubber band around it. If I actually took the time, I would do the quartz like this if I was gonna take care of it. So jungle grape, I don't know if this is jungle grape, I forget what it's called, something grape, I don't remember. Just a random controller pickup. A lot of these were $4 or $5. This is back when Vintage Stock was selling N64 controllers for like $15 or $16, and I was finding them for like, you know, $3 to $5 at the thrift store, so I would just pick them up if the joysticks were good, and this one was. I do like the translucent purple. Those go with that. That goes with that. Yeah, we might as well just shoot through some of this stuff, the controllers and stuff. Here's a couple power supplies and a RF hookup. I might have some more power supplies around here, but here are 2 for sure. I didn't dig through every single thing I have, so I might, like I said, have some. I know I have some other RF cords and stuff. And like I said, these are nothing special. They're just controllers, but I picked them up randomly here and there. That one's a little loose too. Oh well. Here's a red one that's got a little bit of a wonky little loose. It's a little loose, but it's not busted, so you could still use it, but it's just, it wiggles a little bit. You can tell it was used quite a bit, but it still works. This one just has a little bit of wiggle in it, like I say. Set it back over there. And to complement that one, we've got 2 more red ones. So we have a total of 3 red N64 controllers. I don't have one of every color. You'll see here. I don't have a yellow one. Here we have blue and green. And that about does it for the controllers, except for the ones that come with these systems that I'm going to show here in a second. So I don't have a yellow one, a regular yellow one. And I don't know what other colors they came in, the regular colors. I think the blue, red, yellow, gray, green. I don't know. I know I don't have a yellow one anyway. And then here is the super pad that I picked up, which I do like this one a little bit better. They have these pads that you can order on eBay that used to be cheaper. They're not anymore. They're called Hori pads. And you got to order them from like Japan or China or some shit. And they're shaped more like they look almost like the Wavebird, except that I think the shoulder buttons are both. There's like 4 shoulder buttons, and 2 of them are the L and R, and 2 of them are the trigger button. But then the buttons are laid out kind of like the Wavebird. This one's similar to that. It's laid out a little better, except instead of having the zip button up here on the shoulders where I think it should be, they put it on the back down here. So, I mean, it's okay. You can hit it with, it's designed for you to hit it with your second finger here, which is fine. I just never got real hip to it, and I lost a little stick to it, and I kind of had to jimmy rig this one. It's a little taller than normal. I could trim it down a little more, but I just don't care that much. I might, after this, try to shave it down a little more. I just really don't want to bust that and then not have any, because I think I took this off a different N64 controller. Well, I guess I do have that busted one if I had to use another one. So, couple of rumble packs. We've got rumble packs, a few of them. 3 of them here. We got a red one, green one, and this translucent yellow one. And, hey, another jungle purple controller. Or whatever they are. Electric purple, or I don't remember what the fuck they were called. But yeah, I guess I have 2 of these. Who knew? I don't know if those came with a specific model of the system, or whether you could buy those separately. If you know, you can leave a comment. I got a few of these memory cards. I never understood the memory cards because it seemed like some games you could save the game directly to the cartridge, and other games you needed the memory card, and I just never really understood it. And also, don't these have memory cards in them? I mean, I really don't remember. Those are all loose cart games. Those are the box games, box systems. So, I guess we're on to these 2 specialty systems before I get into the games and stuff. One trip I took over to that A Games place, I kind of bought this on a whim. It was the last time I went over there. I took my cousin Joe over there. I did like going in there, and I did like finding that TurboGrafx box adventure game there. But when I went back in there, it just seemed like some of their stuff was a little... It seemed like they had it marked high so he could mark it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go in there and he'd say, well, this is $30, but I'll give it to you for $25. To make it seem like you're getting a deal, but it should really be $25 anyway. The first time I went in there, I thought I was getting kind of a deal. The second time, I felt like that was the case. Like, he had these marked more expensive than they should have been, just so he could say, well, I'll knock $5 off, and it sounds like you're getting a deal, but you're still paying more than you should. I don't even remember what I paid, but I think it was around $20. But I bought this, and it is a Nintendo 64. It's got the official Nintendo 64 logo and stuff on it. It really needs to be just clean, but it's a game holder. I thought it held boxed games, but actually when I got home, or looked in it, I could see it actually just holds loose carts. I think it holds 12. But he had 2 of these at one point, and when I went in there, he only had 1 left. So I asked him how much it was, and I think he said it was $25, but he would sell it to me for $20. And I was like thinking, I really only wanted to pay about $12 for it, but I was like, okay. So I went ahead and bought it from him. I'm not utilizing it in any way at the moment. Let's see here. Okay, we're on to this one. We're moving pretty quick, actually. I'm trying to keep this kind of at a brisk pace. Also, some of it is because I want to spend more time talking about the games, and like I said, I don't have a lot of memories of this system, so I'm just kind of basically showing you what I've got. But this here is kind of interesting because this system, this particular N64 system, and this extra controller were all crammed. I went to the family. I'm telling you, the family store used to be like this haven of bastion of cheap, awesome video game deal finds, and now it isn't anything. I mean, but I went in there. They've moved where they keep the games from back in the back in a case. But they used to just keep all the shit loose over with the electronics. Then they started keeping it in a case back by this jewelry counter. Then they moved all that jewelry counter and the whole thing up toward the front, so people didn't have to, so they could see when people were over there, so that a salesperson, you know, sales associate, thrift store employee could go help you. And but it used to be back in the back, and this was probably before I was doing YouTube, but maybe not. Maybe not. I don't really, it can't be, because I had to have been doing it because, I don't recall. I might have done a video about this find, but I swear it was like $15. And what it was, is it was this box, just like a white box about yay big. And it had all this shit crammed in it and all these cords. It was just a big, like, matted looking mess of cords in a knot. And then you could kind of see a couple of controller, you know, N64 controller, you know, kind of sticking out. And then it had a PlayStation, like, on top of that. So there's all these cords, like, sticking out the side of it, of this box, you know, out the top, like, overflowing the sides. And there's a PlayStation stuck on top of it. And you could see down in there that there was some other stuff. But there was at least 3 controllers and a PlayStation in there, and an N64. And I was like, how much do you want for this? And he goes, for what part of it? I go, for the whole thing, because it was all like friggin' just crammed in this box, and it was like taped shut. I think it was like taped, you know, after they had heaped it full. And so I was like, what do you mean? I go, for the whole thing, because I mean it was all together. And he's like, I don't remember. I think I got up to the counter with it, and they wanted like $15, $12 or $15. And I was like, okay. So when I got home, I started pulling this shit out, and there was so much shit in this box. It was like a regular PlayStation 1, which, you know, those are basically worthless now, because of the PlayStation 2 plays PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 3 plays PlayStation 1 games. I mean, you really just, you don't even need a PlayStation 1 anymore. But there's a PlayStation 1, there was like 2 regular PlayStation 1 controllers in there. I don't think they had the Rumble. They might have had the Rumble, but I think they were even just the basic controllers. Like an RF adapter. I think this one actually had all the hookups for the Nintendo 64. There was RF adapter, the plug-in, and then the system, and then 3 controllers. But I had to pull all this shit out, and like, I'm trying to remember if there's anything else in it, but I don't think so. But I'm trying to get it all untangled and everything. When I finally got it all untangled, this is the Nintendo 64 stuff that was in there. And there was this this controller here, this neon yellow, this translucent kind of yellow one. And it was in there. I've never seen another one like this. I mean, I know they're not rare, but I've just never seen another one like it. And then this system was in there with a whole nother PlayStation. So I got a PlayStation and a full Nintendo 64 system, and the hookups for both. And I'm trying to remember, there might have even been like some other shit just crammed in there. I mean, it was like a ton of stuff for whatever I paid for it. Now, and so this is the system, and it's not just your standard gray system. This is the jungle green N64, and it did have the memory expansion in it. So we have a jungle green with the N64 with the memory expansion. It had the Hoodly Wazes, the hookups, and then it actually had both Jungle Green controllers, or 2 Jungle Green controllers, not just one. I don't know if it, when it came, because I know the Nintendo 64 that I have in the box over here, just came with 1 controller. I don't know if the Jungle Green setup came with 2 Jungle Green controllers, but if it didn't, this, for some reason, there was 2 with this. So I have 2 of these, and then the console itself, which is in good shape. So this is actually one of my favorite, probably my favorite console of the N64s that I have, even though this other one's a little more rare. I only have the one in the box, like I said, and I'll show it last just because it's in the box and I got to take the box apart, or take it out of the box. Another memory card that's stuck in this controller. Another memory card. So, the Jungle Green system. And then I told this story for a while. I was helping my grandfather and my brother-in-law clean out these storage units at my grandparents' property before my grandfather passed away. They said we could keep whatever we found that we liked, because it was basically just, it was their storage units. It's one of those deals where if the stuff goes more than 90 days without payment on the storage unit, they forfeit their property, and my grandparents are allowed to, recoup their money however they can, either sell the stuff or whatever. My grandfather was just one of those dudes that thought it was all junk and wanted to burn it and had a huge burn pile. So we were cleaning out some different storage units, and we got to this one, and I found this in there, but it was like stuck inside like a chest of drawers, or like a waterbed frame. It was like I think it was a waterbed frame that had the drawers underneath that slide out. And, pardon the spit usage again, but, he instructed us to go down to a different storage unit, even though he'd opened this one up. And he's like, go down and finish unloading that one, because we were still finishing up a different unit. He goes, go ahead and load up the rest of that stuff in your truck, and I'll go ahead and start grabbing stuff out of here. And I'm like, okay. And so he quickly loads his shit up. My brother-in-law get our shit loaded up and get up there. My grandfather's already up there chucking shit into the fire. I mean, literally, like, just big boards and, like, pieces of this waterbed frame. And we get out of the truck, and my truck, and I stop it, and I go out, put the tailgate down, and then right at that moment, my grandfather grabs a bunch of shit in these drawers. He grabs some of the drawers and shit, gets ready to toss it into the bonfire, and my brother-in-law saw this console, and he knew I wanted it, sorry, in the drawer that he's getting ready to chuck into the fire, and he goes, didn't you want that? And I go, yeah, grab it real quick. And he runs over there and he grabs it, and he just barely grabs it by the cords and yanks it back out of the, luckily the controller wasn't in that drawer. I yanked it back out of the fire, and saved this from a inferno. But that would be my Pikachu N64. My brother-in-law, I think it had both hookups actually at the time, but my brother-in-law grabbed it by the cords, but because this locks in instead of pulling out by pressing that button, that's the only thing that saved this from going in the fire, because he grabbed it and yanked it out. Now, I have hooked this up and it does work. He's got his little foot's the reset button. This one does not have the memory enhancement in it, but it has a jumper, and the jumper still has a sticker on it. So I just left it that way. Because like I said, I have really no need to upgrade the ROM in this. I'd probably play on the Jungle Green one if I was going to play, but there was a matching controller for it, the Pokemon controller. And it was not in that particular drawer, but I think I went over and kind of went through some other stuff and found it in there before my grandfather chuck the rest of it in there. So that Pikachu N64 is a little more rare, but The story behind it is so good to me. I still remember my brother-in-law grabbing that, my grandpa being like, "What?" You know, and I being like, "You don't realize he didn't give a shit. Stuff could have been worth thousands of dollars, and he would have just chucked it right in the fire. He did not care at all." So, I'm about to wrap this up, the very first part. The games are going to take a little while to go through, and we'll do the system. So I'm going to go ahead and stop, because I think it's been about 25 minutes. I'm afraid the camera's going to expire here real quick, and then we'll pick up with the next section. Yeah, so let's do that. Alrighty, folks, we're back. Around the same time frame that I was helping my grandparents with their storage units and stuff, I found this boxed N64, I believe at the family store. It might have been at the DAV, the Disabled Veterans Thrift Store, actually, now that I think about it. Sorry, I just noticed something that I was trying to fix real quick. Somebody put a staple in that. I think they did. I think they stapled the price onto the thing. I don't remember what I paid for this, but it was in box, and that's the only reason I went ahead and got it. And it had to have been fairly cheap, or I wouldn't have picked it up. But it is just a regular N64. The box has got a little ding here. It's a little messed up here. It's not in the greatest of shape, but it's not horrible. You know, the fun machine. You know how fun this is. You've got one yourself. Nintendo 64! So, yeah. So, let's open the box. See what's what. I'm still kicking myself, because at one time at the family store, they had an Intellivision in the box. And I think they wanted like 40 bucks for it. And I didn't buy it. And I'm like, I should have bought it. So, here's the box. I haven't opened this up in a long time, so I don't really know what's in here. Looks like we have a regular gray controller. That's weird. Check this thing out. It says Nintendo on it, though. It's like a little plug like this that you can plug like a... I don't know what that is. I guess you can just plug a normal RF into that. Like, you can plug, like, the regular Nintendo RF into that, and then plug that into the system. I don't know why that's in here, but it is. But it does say Nintendo on it. So, I mean, it's official Nintendo brand thing. I think it's just an RF converter. N64 Rumble Pack. Actual Nintendo brand that has batteries in it that are luckily not corroded. Alrighty. Another power supply. The console itself. Does it have the memory? It does. So we've got a memory in that one. And underneath the system in the box, we have the standard hookup. And then we have one of these that the RF plugs into. The RF converter like so. So that's what that's for. And this is a Nintendo brand RF. Like I said, I think I got this fairly cheap, and it was in the box. The box is in pretty good shape, so I was like not totally against buying it. And then there's a game in here, and I don't know why there's a game in here, because the system didn't come with a game, but for some reason there's a copy of GoldenEye in this box. I don't really need to keep GoldenEye in this box, so I'll put it with the other loose carts. I will not spend my normal obligatory wasting of your time putting this back in the box the right way. I will save that for after the video, except for this 30 seconds that I'm spending telling you about how I'm not going to do it while I'm doing it. Alright. Alright. It's like, how did that go in there a second ago? There. Alright. So, that's my box system that the cat threw up on not too long ago. Oh, here we go. This would explain it right here. I think I got this at Vintage Stock. It's an N64 RF switch, RF modulator by itself in the actual box. And that's basically what it is. It's just an RF adapter and then that little thing. So I guess I have two of those. I don't know how much this thing was by itself. This box is actually in pretty good shape. Compatible with Super Nintendo. I don't know why it says compatible with the new Super Nintendo Entertainment System, even though this is, unless it was the Slim. Maybe it's the Slim model of the Super Nintendo that they're talking about. Nope, we're not putting it back in the box. Put it over there. Don't make them watch you put it in the box. Okay, we'll do loose cart shit first, and then we'll do the box games. I don't know if I'm going to take all the box games out of the box. Most of them are complete. I don't know if all of them have the instructions. I might open some of them. I don't know that I'm going to open all of them. I'm sorry, I got too many controllers in my way. Who knew you were waiting for this quality level of entertainment here on this? So we'll take a break for a second while I'm getting these ready. My roommate basically, when I had a PlayStation and he played through Resident Evil 2 and he liked the Road Rash 3D and some of the other games, but he had a Nintendo 64 and he mainly bought it for like the sports games like Quarterback Club and I got way more loose games than I thought. Ken Griffey and that kind of stuff. But the very first game that he picked up that I actually had any interest in was Rogue Squadron. And we played Rogue Squadron quite a bit. And he actually beat it. I never actually beat Rogue Squadron. So, hats off to Jake Dubin for beating it. I think this was the GoldenEye I just frickin' took out of that box. So, I have GoldenEye. I think I might have a couple copies of GoldenEye. Never really played it. I know the 4-player thing was really a big deal. I've seen some of the speed run, you know, kind of the like documentary shit on the speed runs and stuff. But I don't really care about it. It kind of passed me by. Try to figure this out here. Did I? No, I put it back to it. Okay, this one is Rampage 2 Universal Tour. Looks like it was a Blockbuster rental because it's still got a one of those kind of stickers that they put over the back. This is actually the sticker. It didn't actually peel the back Nintendo sticker. That's actually the sticker itself. I might be able, if I'm really careful, to kind of get it off of there. So Rampage 2, I don't know if any of these games are good, rare, not rare, who knows, who gives a shit. Madden 2000, another rental from, I can't even tell, because it's a shiny-ass sticker that part of it's wore off of. Rent a Flick in Novi, Michigan. Who knows? Who knew a Madden game from Michigan would end up in my collection in the closet for the past 4 years? Another Madden game, Madden 64. These are probably dirt cheap. Yeah, it's, you know, I just was buying anything at one point to fill out the collection if I didn't already own it. Here's another one. WCW NWO Revenge. I don't know if I played it. I'm trying to knock some of these sports titles out first. Let's knock some of this sports shit out of here. Sorry. Got to get it situated. Oh, goody. Yes, 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 yes. Shitload of sports titles. Yeah. A couple of these I also know that I have box copies of as well. I don't consider this a sports game. Sorry, I know this is super exciting, but bear with me. Ah, there it is. My second copy of GoldenEye, so 2 GoldenEyes. And then, let me see if this is all the sports titles here. I think it is. I think I got all the sports titles here. So we got NHL Breakaway 98 with a ripped back sticker. Kobe Bryant in NBA Courtside. Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey. I think this is, it just says Mayhem really big. WCW, I think. Mayhem. I never really watched WCW. I was always a WWF, WWE guy. Here's WCW versus NWO World Tour. Back sticker's a little boogered. Like I said, I don't have much of a comment on any of these. All-Star Baseball 2000. I think that's my only baseball game. I remember playing the Ken Griffey one with Jake, but he'd always kick my ass, so. And then NFL Quarterback Club 98 with Brett Favre on the cover, which I believe I have a copy of that on in box. I don't know until I get there. All right, so let's see here. I don't know if there's any right or wrong way to do this. No rhyme, no reason. Yeah, so, okay. I've got 2 copies of Turok 2 Seeds of Evil. One that's black and one that's gray. They both say Turok 2 Seeds of Evil on them. Got a copy of Hey You Pikachu, which used to be a Blockbuster copy. Still got the Blockbuster store number on the back from 1999, so it's 20 years. And then it's got a little bit of a Blockbuster sticker on both sides still. Not going to worry about it because you'll see here in a minute why. Got a copy of South Park with a $1.49 thrift store price tag on the back. Glover. If you guys have opinions on any of these games, I know I'm just rolling through them real quick, but it's because I really have no frame of reference with them. I don't really care. Some of these I do. I mean, that's why I'm setting some of these to the side, because I do have more of a memory with them. But a lot of these I'm just rolling through. Okay. Here's a game called... What does that say? Okay. Aiden Chronicles The First Mage, also with a $1.49 price sticker on the back. Black cartridge. We've got Clay Fighter 63 and a third. Bomberman 64. Oh, here we go. Elmo's Number Journey. That's got to be a riveting title there. Pokemon Stadium, and actually no little kid wrote their name on the front of it. Never really played Pokemon or cared. It kind of was right on the edge of when I, you know, felt old enough that it was like, I don't care about that shit. I'll put this over here. Wave Race 64. This is pretty fun. I remember playing it a little bit. Not too bad. We are moving along here, sort of. I feel like this video is still going to push an hour, though. I have 15 minutes already. Duke Nukem 64. Mature rating. Here's a game I really do like, and I played it more on the PlayStation. Ready to Rumble Boxing. This is also another one where it was obviously a Blockbuster or something place, because they put some kind of clear plastic tape or something over the whole back of it with the store number written on it. I could probably replace the back of this cartridge, but I don't really care. A lot of these I got loose at the thrift store. I think a few of them I bought at Game Exchange, including that one. Castlevania. I know there was like 2 different versions of this. I don't remember why or know why. I don't know which version this is. Here's another Duke Nukem title, Duke Nukem 0 Hour. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. I can't even tell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 18, 19, 20, 22, 24, 28 games so far. I know you were riveted by that. Some of these came out of the storage unit, I can tell. These, because the labels are a little more scuffed up. Doom 64. That's probably where that one from Michigan came. That whatever game I had that came from Michigan was probably a storage unit thing. Mortal Kombat Trilogy. The back label is ripped and got some number written on it. Dark Rift. Back label's a little boogered. Cartoon Network Scooby-Doo Classic Creepy Capers. So I've already lost count. What's that, 31? We're starting to get into the ones that I do have a little more familiarity with. Perfect Dark. Never really played it. Star Fox 64. Label's a little bit pulling up right there in the corner, just a hair. And one of these games fell on the floor, and I don't know which one. Oh, it was Elmo's Number Journey. I'd hate to lose track of that. Alright, so now we're getting into some more familiar territory. Road Rash 64, I like this game. I've always liked all the Road Rash games. Label's a little bit boogered right there. It looks like it was cut or something. I don't know why. Maybe it was peeling up there and somebody just cut off the little part that was peeling. I don't know. Not a big deal to me. Like I said, this isn't my... This is just... I don't know what this is. This is one of the games that I did really want when I bought the system, so I think I bought this at Game Exchange. Killer Instinct Gold. Here's another one that I played quite a bit on the PlayStation. PlayStation? Or PlayStation 2? I don't remember. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Yeah, it was on other consoles. I know I played it on one of the PlayStation consoles, or I played it on the Dreamcast or something. I don't recall. This was one that I really wanted because I knew it was exclusive to the console. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, so I probably bought this at Game Exchange. A few of these, I'm not sure where I found them, but a couple of them I do know where I found them. Here's another one that I really wanted, and this is the only game I've ever beaten on the Nintendo 64, and I wanted a gold card copy. It's Zelda Ocarina of Time. I've never played Majora's Mask. I just thought it was basically like Ocarina of Time with some added content, so I never played it. So I know that's not necessarily the case. I don't really care. No going back. I've got thousands of games now. I mean, I can't. So, let's see. These I got at Flea Mart. These, I'm not sure where I got them. This one I think I got at Vintage Stock. This one I think I got at the thrift store. This one I got at the thrift store and thought it was pretty damn cool. When I found out they had made a second one, I went ahead and got it at Vintage Stock. And that would be the game Extreme G. I always thought this game was pretty cool. It's kind of like a motorcycle, futuristic motorcycle racing game. Not in the vein of Road Rash, but, in the future or whatever. I mean, I don't think you can do a lot of, trying to disable your opponent's rides or whatever. I don't really remember. But I just remember the angles that you would drop off of and go down and how you were moving on the track were so wild that it really did give you this sense of just craziness. And so I really did enjoy this one. So when I saw this one at Vintage Stock, I went ahead and picked it up to Extreme G2 or XG2. And then I'll save this one for last. Okay. These two, I think I got this one out of a booth at Flea Mart, and then these other two I got out of the actual Flea Mart people's cases. I picked up a copy, I believe this was out of a booth, of Resident Evil 2. Now, the label on this is super dingy, and I know people are always like, don't replace the labels or whatever, but honestly, I just don't give a shit. I thought about buying one of the replacement labels for this just because it would make it look a little better. I'm not ever going to sell it or care about it like that. So, I mean, there were some games that I thought about replacing labels on that I eventually decided not to for my Nintendo, being Mega Man and a couple other ones, just because their knockoff ones never look right. So, but that one for the Resident Evil 2 I didn't think would be too big of a deal. Now these two games I picked up at Flea Mart, and then this other one I'm holding just because I got to explain. But I picked up a copy of Super Smash Brothers. I think I paid like $5 or $6 for it, but it's got a good label and it's not torn up or anything. This is one of those Player's Choice copies, a million seller or whatever. So, but it's one of those titles that everybody seems to know for the system. And also this one that everybody knows, and you're probably like, about time, Mario Kart 64. Mario Kart 64. Yeah, I mean, you gotta have Mario Kart 64. But to be fair, I actually like this racing game better, and that is Diddy Kong Racing. I actually like Diddy Kong Racing better than Super Mario Kart or Mario Kart 64. I just always did. I don't know why. Maybe it's because you fly the little planes and the hovercrafts and stuff versus just always being in the cart or whatever. I don't really remember why. It intrigued me more. Maybe because you have to unlock gates and shit. I don't really remember a lot about Mario Kart 64 other than doing time trials and shit. So, that is all my loose kart games. And like I said, I don't know how many we're looking at here. But that was quite a few. Although we do have 2 GoldenEyes. And like I said, some of these I've actually got box copies of. Like the loose carts that I have, I probably picked up first and then found box copies later. But we do have 2 Turok 2s and 2 GoldenEyes. But one of the Turok 2s is a black cart version. We had more sports games than I thought. But not overly, well, quite an abundance, really. I mean, probably a good fifth of all these games were sports titles. 2 Maddens and a quarterback club, Gretzky hockey, an NBA game, bunch of wrestling games. All I saw was WCW wrestling games, no WWF wrestling games at all. I know I have WWF Attitude and Warzone, I think, for the PlayStation. So, loose cart-wise, I was trying to figure out how many we had here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 8, 8. Let's level this off here. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 45 loose cart games, and 2 of them were repeats. So let's see where we're at here. That took fucking 26 minutes. So now we've got another third part of the video I need to film to show the box copies. Now, like I said, I don't know that I'm going to take all the box copies out of the box, but we might look at a couple. So, anyway, let's kill the camera one more time. I'm sorry. If I was filming in 1080, I could even film for a less amount of time. It would be like 15 minutes, and I would be stopping it all the time. That's why I never film in 1080. Is because this camera I'd have to stop after 5 or 10 minutes, but I don't think it really matters. The main thing that bothered me was wanting to be able to film with the widescreen format, you know, in a decent quality. You know, this isn't my career, so I don't need a 4K camera or anything. So, not on Patreon, not sucking you dry, not wanting anything in return other than some comments and some interaction with you folks. I really don't want to take all of these out of the box. I believe some of them are not complete, but most of them are. Yeah, I just wanted to look and see if this one was. A lot of these were either thrift store pickups or cheap vintage stock pickups at the time. I believe I got this one at Vintage Stock. It looks like it used to have a price sticker on the front that somebody peeled off because it peeled a little bit of the box. But other than that, it's in pretty good shape. It does not have the expansion pack that it says is included in here, of course. Otherwise, it would be in one of my machines that doesn't have an expansion pack. But it's Donkey Kong 64. And it is complete. It's got a seizure warning with a magnetic thing stuck to the back of it. The Going Ape official player's guide, subscription thing or whatever. The instruction booklet in color. Nice color. And then the cartridge itself. Come on. the banana yellow cartridge. The cartridge is in really nice shape, actually. Donkey Kong 64. Now, I don't have a ton of these, so maybe I will take them out of the box. I don't know. Nah, there are a few that I'm not gonna. Like, here we got another copy of Quarterback Club. I know it's complete, and it's in pretty good shape. I have, like you saw, a loose card of this already, so I'm not gonna take it out of the thing. These were usually a couple of bucks and complete, or I wouldn't have picked it up, because I already had a copy of it. Like I told you earlier, I liked this game, so when I saw it again in the box, I went ahead and bought it. And that would be Ready to Rumble Boxing. These boxes are, some of them are a little more work than others. This one's in used condition, not overly abused. Color instructions. It's awesome. Get so used to not even frickin' having instructions anymore. Now, I don't mind if they put the instruction book, like a couple of these games I bought recently, like the Alice Madness Returns on the PlayStation. It says that the manual is included digitally on the disc. Now, if they do that, I don't have a problem with that at all. If they want to put the manual on there as a digital thing that you can look through, or install onto your system and then read it. But when you have to go online or something to find the damn manual instead of just putting it on there as a readable document, I don't know if I showed that, but Ready to Rumble. I think that's the same sticker that was on that other one. I mean, it's not Ready to Rumble 2. I know they were both Ready to Rumble boxing, the first one. I don't know if they made Ready to Rumble 2 for the N64. I know that they did for, this was evidently a thrift store pickup. $1.99, it says. And I know that's a thrift store tag. Next one, you already saw this one as well. I picked it up again because it was in the box. Box is a little bit worked on the back. It evidently had a sticker on it that somebody peeled off. And they tried to peel the warning sticker off the front of the box as well at the bottom. It looked like they stopped after a little bit. But that would be South Park the game. I recently just started playing Stick of Truth on the PS3, and I'm laughing my ass off. I never really played it, but there was like some, I don't know, when I was looking through my games, I saw it, and there was some kind of DLC for, oh man, that's it. Oh man. The game that's in here, which I have the loose cart, so I might put the loose cart in here because it does some, this one they slapped a nice sticker right on the front of the game that says $39.99. Actually, it's coming off pretty easy. I might be able to get it off of there without damaging it, if we are careful. $39.99, huh? Careful, Adam. Careful. Steady hands. Woohoo! Alright. You got it off of there, thankfully. If not, I would have just put the other one in there, in the box. Instruction book. Don't know what the hell that is. Somebody put a South Park code, master cheat code written down in here. This has some different stuff that somebody wrote down. Fatter Knacker, I don't know. Some different passcodes. I don't know. Maybe I never even opened this freaking box. I don't remember those passcodes being in here. And then seizure warning, registration card, and a poster, a little poster. In the game. So, sweet. I don't know where I got this or how much it was. This is definitely another thrift store pickup. The game's like kind of flopping around in there. Evidently, there's no tray in here or anything. Rugrats game, Rugrats Scavenger Hunt, box, and the cartridge. Cartridge is in pretty good shape, and it does have the instructions. It just doesn't have a tray in here, you know, to hold the game, like a cardboard tray. So it is complete, though. Don't know jack or shit about Rugrats Scavenger Hunt. You're leading two things right now, Jack and shit. And Jack left town. All right. We've got 11 more games. I'll go ahead and show this one. This box is a little bit worked, but I went ahead and bought it. It's because it was a Blockbuster Video. It's still got the Blockbuster Video sticker on the back. But the box itself, I was just surprised to find a copy that had the box and everything, so I went and got it even though it's a little beat up. But Hey You Pikachu, like I said, it's got a Blockbuster sticker on the back. Includes game pack, voice recognition unit, and microphone. Box is a little boogered here, gotten ripped, and it has that sticker on the back. I believe it's got all the pieces parts, though. We got this little thing that doodad that holds the microphone. This thing that plugs into the, I don't know, into the console. Here's the little microphone. It doesn't have the little yellow ball or whatever that goes on it. It was like chewed, or it might have not even been on this one. I think the one that I showed where I had a loose disc of this game, or a card of this game, actually had a microphone too. It's around here somewhere. I just don't know where it is. And then the instruction booklet is missing the cover, but other than that, it has the instruction booklet sans cover. So it's almost complete. It could use a new manual, but I'm sure the manual alone for this game is probably like frickin' $15, $20. And it doesn't have the little yellow ball that goes on top of the microphone, which I'm not really concerned about. I'd be more concerned if I was missing this thing. The thing that latches the mic to the controller. That would be a more integral piece to be missing than the little fuzzy foam ball on the microphone. So, like I say, I think this was picked up at vintage stock, actually. Even though it has a Blockbuster sticker on it, I did not buy it at Blockbuster Video. You know me, I gotta get it back in the box. You're lucky I didn't sit and dick with those. Oh boy, 10 minutes in already. We should be able to get through this. I believe some of you told me about some of these games being not so great or whatever, but I don't really know. Like I said, most of them I just bought because they were cheap and complete. I didn't have it. Here is Mischief Makers. I believe somebody told me this wasn't very good. But I don't know. Everybody's got their own opinions, though, and own taste. Sometimes there can be a majority consensus, though. Sounds a little loose in there too. It does have the cardboard tray. No instructions though. Mischief Makers. Decent looking cartridge and with the tray. Seizure warning. No instruction book for Mischief Makers. That's the first one that I've come across that's box that does not have the instructions. The other ones were only. The other one was only missing. The insert tray. Next, Disney Pixar Activision game, A Bug's Life. This one's in pretty good shape. Obviously wasn't played too much. It does have a little bit of a crease there in the front. Probably, yeah, where people were opening the box to get the game out. This one has the instruction book. Obviously, it's a little dog-eared because I didn't diligently put it back in very well. That is, if I ever even took it out of here. I don't know that I've played Bug's Life. Maybe I have. Come on. Ah, this one's got a little bag that the game's in. So the game actually is in really good shape. Doopy-doop, Bug's Life. I remember seeing the movie once. Literally once. And that's it. Don't really know much more about it other than that. I don't think I've played this game, actually. So like I said, I might have not even ever taken it out, other than initially taking it out to look at it to see if I wanted to possibly buy it. I don't know if I actually ever played it. Are you bug enough? The graphics don't look too bad. It's definitely a E for everyone game, but, you know, who knows? Decent shape. Alright, these are my more favorite-ish things, getting down to it. This one is not. I believe somebody told me this one was not that great either. Mission Impossible. Good morning, Mr. Phelps. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to play this only for an N64 title. It's pretty heavy. What do you got in here? Mission Impossible. It also has the bag, the little bag on the game. I'm assuming those came on the games originally. I wouldn't know because I didn't own an N64, so I didn't ever buy any games new. Instruction book in nice shape. Mario Player's Guide offer. And a Mission Impossible N64 poster. Expect the impossible, and you will never be let down. And then here's some games on the back. We've got, what's that say? I can't read that. Something Destiny. MRC Racing. Space Circus, Wetrix, GT64, and a Looney Tunes game. That does not look familiar to me at all. Don't know if it ever came out. I think that says Fighter's Destiny up there. That Looney Tunes game does not look familiar to me at all. If it came out, let me know. I might be interested in getting it. I don't recall ever seeing that. It might be expensive as shit. Who knows? I suppose somebody like Business17 or somebody who has a more complete N64 collection would know. But that game's actually pretty complete and in pretty nice shape. Now, I don't know about the quality of the gameplay, but you can't have it all, can you? Well, sometimes you can, like Super Metroid. Alright, 7 left. Fudge. Okay. Mortal Kombat 4. Box is in decent shape. This one also has the bag on the game. Instruction book. Midway Games registration card and a poster. Music. Mortal Kombat 4. I never really played Mortal Kombat 4. I never really played past Mortal Kombat 3 with Mortal Kombats. I mean, I think I played Mortal Kombat Trilogy, but... Alrighty. I'm going to show one more, and then I'm going to kill it, because I know it's going to take me more than 10 minutes to finish these last 5, and then we'll call it a video. It'll be around 2 hours, so, or an hour and 45 or whatever. This game, I just always loved this game. I originally got it for the PlayStation. I've never beat it, but the atmosphere of it and the idea of it always intrigued me. This box is kind of cool. It's raised, and like different portions of it are hit with a spot coating, so it shines, and then the rest of it's kind of a matte. I think this box is really cool. And that is the game, and like I said, I always loved this game, and I did play a fair amount of it on the PlayStation, but of course I never beat it. And that would be the game Shadow Man. And as you can see, that box art, see how it kind of shines? There are certain parts that have a gloss hit on them, and then the rest of it's matte. We do that kind of shit at my work with some things. You know, we do these boxes for this RC, you know, like RC controller, like remote control cars and things like that. We do some boxes for this place called Castle Creations that have that spot kind of hit on them. The game and the instruction book. It's got Revolt on the back, which I have Revolt, I believe, for the Dreamcast. This is not a color instruction book, unfortunately. They blew all their money on the shiny gloss hit box, so they had to have a black and white instruction book. But Shadow Man, yeah, I really like this game. Shadow Man 2 also on the PlayStation 2, I really dug. It just had it was the first game that I remember using the shoulder buttons on the PlayStation for the attack buttons. Like, you could have like 2 axes or some kind of weapons. You could have 2 different weapons and have one in each hand. And like the left shoulder button was your left button, your left swing, and your right shoulder button was the right swing. Come on. Yeah, that's good. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. Okay, so I'm going to kill it one more time, and then we'll, I know I said that many times, but literally, I've been talking for 20 minutes. I'm not going to be able to wrap this up in 10 minutes, so, alright. So, we're back for the, hopefully, the final portion of this. I was looking up here because I was going to see, I don't know where I'm wondering where my Shadow Man 2 game is. It's probably in the, game drawers over there. I thought maybe it was up there, but it's not. Alright. So, of course, I already showed 2 of these, but I picked them up in box. I wanted to get all of the Star Wars games. There's one that I'm missing that I would like to still get in the box. I could have bought a complete new, still sealed back in the, when I very first started collecting. I almost bought it for $20 and I didn't. It was like $23 and something. And now I kicked myself for not buying it because it was complete and it was still brand new. But it was this game called Battle for Naboo. Stars. It was kind of like Rogue Squadron, but it was called Battle for Naboo, and it was mainly centered around this stuff that happened on Naboo and Phantom Menace. But, so I'm going to go ahead and show these Star Wars games real quick. The first one I already did show you was Pod Racer, Episode 1 Racer, which I had that dingy looking cartridge. This box is in good shape. Instruction book, got a little crimply right there. It's color though. a free player's guide offer inside. And the game itself. And this label looks a hell of a lot better than that dingy ass one I showed earlier. Like I said, I played this more on the place. I believe it was the PlayStation 2. It might have been the PlayStation 1. I know I have it on the Dreamcast, but I played it on, I think it was on PlayStation 2. I really don't recall, though, because I don't think I have a copy of it. I might. I don't know. I get so confused because I don't recall what I've got because I've got too much of it. So, Pod Racer, the box looks, like I said, in pretty good shape. Next one that we showed already was this one. Go ahead and take it out of the case. Shadows of the Empire. I got this one at Game Exchange. Oh no! Oh no! I always thought this game was... I read the Shadows of the Empire novel, and I always thought this game was a good fit into the Star Wars universe. This is back before Disney bought it, and they decided to do all this expanded universe stuff. And Shadows of the Empire was one of the few things that Lucas said was canon at the time to the Star Wars universe. Instruction book. Got a little dog ear on the corner up on the back. Color. Doesn't look like it has any writing or anything in it. Although I don't know why there would be writing in it. You know, sometimes there's note pages in the back or something. Enemies. Got our seizure warning, our free whatchamahoos, our free Nintendo Power or whatever. And then the game in one of the bags. And this is a nice copy. Yeah, I bought both of these after I bought those loose cart ones that were completely torn to shit. I found some good ones. I did not order these, actually, though. I did not order them off eBay or anything. I did find them either at Vintage Stock or Game Exchange or something. Or at the pawn shop or thrift store. I know I did not order any of these Nintendo 64 games. The only one that I know I ordered offline, I'm going to show, and it's probably the last one I'm going to show here. Come on. Come on. Next game is a game I talked about. I don't know if I had a loose card of this. I don't think I did. And that is Rogue Squadron. This was the first game I remember really playing, other than Ken Griffey, that my roommate Jake brought home for his N64 that I actually dug. And I played this quite a bit, but like I said, he did eventually beat it, and I only made it about 10 or 12. Because I was trying to get all of the, like, I forget, the gold, you know, whatever. I think there was some different, like, bronze, silver, gold. I was trying to get all this, you know, all the gold ones or whatever, beat all the levels, and I eventually just kind of gave up on it. Rogue Squadron Player's Guide. Man, they were really pushing these Player's Guide, Nintendo Power. And then the cart is in great shape. No bag on it, but it's in good shape. Okay. This one is pretty beat up. I think I might have got it at Vintage Stock, but I'm not 100%. Like I said, it's pretty worked, but it is in the box. And this is, like I said, the only N64 game I was ever able to complete. So we picked up Zelda Ocarina of Time in the box. As you can tell, it's got something crushed it on the front. It's slightly ripped here. Definitely used. It's not the gold, the shiny box. The instruction book has been well used, and It's color, though. I mean, it's nice. The instruction book by itself now probably costs $20. For some reason, they didn't write anything in the notes area, but they wrote these little directional arrows down here at the bottom of this page for some reason, and I don't know what that is for. Down, right, up, left, down, right, up, right. I don't know what that is for. I don't recall. But if it pertains to anything. And then the cartridge itself has a little bitty booger on the front, but is in decent shape. Not any worse than any of the other parts of that game in the box. And then the final game, this is the only game, it's the only game that I ever ordered off the internet for the N64. And it was shortly after I found that first one. And I believe I got it on eBay. I wasn't really even that hip to collecting at that point, so I didn't realize when I bought it that it was a million seller, but it really doesn't matter to me. Like I said, it's one of the games that I've never finished, but I really wanted to have a copy of it. I've tried to start it multiple times and never been able to get into it. And it's the game that my buddy Chad had on his system, the only game he had the very first time I ever even saw it, and that is Super Mario 64. Now, this is the million seller Player's Choice version, and I don't even know if it's complete. I think it is, though. Well, it's complete in the fact that it has the instruction book and the game. The game is in good shape. It had the cardboard tray. I realized also I was holding these games really close to the camera, so I have to apologize for that throughout this video. You've probably been like, fucker, why are you holding shit so close to the camera? We can't even see it. That was an accident on my part, but it's not something that I'm willing to go back and film for 2 hours to fix, so sorry, folks. That's all I can say, sorry. Instruction book is cool. It's complete. And then, like I said, the box is the million seller. It's a little ripped right here. I believe that was disclosed when I bought it. I just didn't realize that it was a million seller, not that it really matters. I think at one point I did pick up a loose cart version of Mario 64 and another loose cart of Mario Kart. And I think I traded those in to vintage stock for credit so I could get some other stuff because I didn't need multiple copies. Also, I did the same thing with, at one time, that one pawn shop, not the one I mainly go to now on Nolan Road, but there's another one on Sterling and 24 Highway. It's also a Cash America, but for a while they were selling like most of their loose cart games for like dirt cheap. I mean, like $1 or maybe $2. And I went in there one time and they literally had like 3 copies of Donkey Kong Country in there. They were loose carts, but they only wanted like $1 a piece for them. And they also had Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong's Quest, and whatever the other one was, the little girl, Daisy Kong or whatever it is, the third one. They had all 3. They had 1, 2, and 3, and then they had 2 more copies of Donkey Kong Country. And I bought all of them for $5. And I kept the 1, 2, and 3. And then I took 2 of those Donkey Kong Countries and took them over to vintage stock. And I think they gave me like at the time they gave me like $8 or $9 store credit for each one. So it was like $15 in store credit I got for those, and I paid $2 for them. And in the same day, I turned right around and took them over to the vintage stock and got like $16 in store credit. Well, so I basically got $14 of credit, you know, because I spent 2 on it. So I got 14 extra bucks just to spend on other stuff. But that's my Nintendo 64 collection. Nothing jumps out at me. I do like Mario 64. I just have never gotten into it. Maybe if I sat down and was running levels with somebody else, like I'd play a level and then they'd play a level, you know, we went back and forth, I might dig it more. But just the idea of sitting down and playing it by myself, I just don't really care at this point. And Zelda, like I said, it's the only game that I beat. The only one that I beat on the N64 was Ocarina of Time. And I've never played Majora's Mask. Like I said, I thought it was just a, I don't know, a version with like bonus content or add-on content of Ocarina. And I still don't really know, but I don't think that's the case. So, anywho, I wouldn't mind picking up a copy of Majora's Mask, even if it was loose cart, just to have it. Also, maybe that other Castlevania, whatever the other one is. Even though I know it's not the greatest game in the world. And that's about it. So, this has been a long, segmented video with shitty camera work and me holding the stuff way too close to the camera. So, I'm sorry, but at least I finally shot the mother. So, that's a plus. So, hopefully the camera's still running. It is, thank God. And we'll get out of here. So, for the crew here, being me and 2 cats that are in the garage so they don't bug me, thanks for watching, and I'll try to get up something soon. I posted that Senran Kagura burst. That's just the intro to the game. I know a lot of people are like, oh, why the hell did you post this? I was going to do something more in-depth with it and show you some more of the game, but I didn't save the clip right, so all it saved was that intro, so I figured I'd put it up. And I might play it. Basically, it's just a hack and slash where you are on these little missions, and you basically go in and just kill a ton of people to end. That's all you're doing. You're just going in there and hacking and slashing, killing people until the level's over. So, that's that. And we'll sign off. I don't know what I'll do in the future as far as videos go. I still do have my PlayStation 3, all those games that I have not done a collection video on. Oh God, that would take forever. And I don't know, I think I've done most of the other ones. I would really like to redo my 3DO collection as it stands now, because I got a lot of stuff and a bunch of broken things and never did a full 3DO collection video, so I really would like to maybe do one. Don't hold me to it anytime soon, but I think I would like to get a full 3DO, at least my full 3DO collection of what I consider my 3D full collection, because I'm just not a completist. I just want what I want, and, you know, occasionally I'll see something else cool that I didn't know existed, like that Looney Tunes game, perhaps. And it might suck ass, the game might even suck, but I just love Looney Tunes, so. Anyway, always was a Looney Tunes fan over Warner Brothers, over Disney back in the day, so. Signing off, folks. Thanks for putting up with this bullshit, and as always, leave comments on any of those games. If you really dig them, or there's a reason why I should really give it more of a chance, let me know. I can use that other controller. I thought about ordering one of those Hori pad things, like I said. I saw Metal Jesus talking about them on his channel. I went and checked, but they're like $80 or $90 used. And most of them are, you got to order from Japan or China or some shit, and they ship it over here. But I think I'd just make do with that Mad Catz or whatever. But I do like the fact they put the Z buttons as secondary shoulder buttons, kind of like the way the PlayStation controller is. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe someday when I've got money falling out of my asshole, I'll buy one. But until then, thanks for coming by, folks. Thanks for putting up with this crap, and we'll see you next video. Bye.